What is the myth you are tired of hearing people think is true? The Stanford Prison Experiment, Ground Zero as the go-to excuse for every I'm personally justified in treating people like shit because everyone is a monster when the chips are down, so I'm just doing it first before they can do it to me. Douchebag who's ever douchebagged. Never really happened. I mean, it happened, but it was not some formal, rigorous experiment you can draw conclusions from. The party switch myth. It was a platform switch, not a party switch. Those words are not the same. I wish people would understand the difference and accept that both parties are still who they were in the past. The only thing that changed was their view on the government. One used to be big government high tax and the other was small government low tax. They switched those platforms. Only a small group of people chose to leave and many ended up going back. Divorced women with children are getting too much in child support and or she'll be living large off her 1/2 of any assets. The statistics show their household fares less well monetarily, which tells you how bad their husband was as a partner and or father. Also, child support is super low where I live. Childcare for one kid is almost $2,000 a month. Most people aren't getting a realistic amount in child support to cover 1/2 a child's costs. 2 words summate crisis. Climate change is real, it's always changing and always has been changing. But I've been hearing panicked warnings since the 70s that we have only 10 years left to do something or we'll all die. The polar bears are fine. There are still ice caps at the poles. The ozone hole is shrinking. We're fine. Of course, we should be responsible stewards of our environment, but it's not a crisis. Stop panicking that it's good for a nation's standard of living for their government to go deeper and deeper into debt forever. That no consequence will quite reasonably come from attempting to pay for only a portion of something's cost forever. Even more so when the something is actually kind of an important thing in life that plays a very large role in people's lives, and its impact on how resources are allocated. There's someone out there for everyone. No, there isn't. Many people end up alone against their will. And if you are willing to work on yourself as a person, your chances are even lower of you finding someone who wants to be with you long term. So stop trying to find someone who will just accept you for you, and try to be the best version of you so someone can be proud to be with you instead. Running is bad for your knees. It's not. Studies have shown the repeated stress of regular running on your knees makes your body adapt positively, i.e. builds up the cartilage and tendons. Same way repeatedly stressing a muscle by lifting weights causes it to grow and get stronger. The don't be stupid with it rule still applies, but running is not inherently bad for your knees. That the distillation process naturally produces methanol that needs to be accounted for and discarded, so that you don't go blind or die. I'm a hobby distiller and it blows me away how misunderstood this is. It's a holdover myth from Prohibition, when methanol was first introduced into industrial ethanol to prevent people from drinking it. Mechanistic materialism. Maintaining belief in a dead paradigm that's been scientifically proven false creates unnecessary cultures of scarcity. Teaching and believing this false doctrine is currently causing a great extinction event, ever-lessening quality of life, endless poverty, turmoil, and unnecessary death and destruction. In a far future, sun will turn into a red giant and absorb Earth, destroying it. This won't actually be the case, since while the Earth will be engulfed by the red giant's atmosphere, the density of atmosphere around the Earth's orbit will be so small, that on a macro level nothing is going to change. Our planet will still be there. Getting pretty tired of one political party in the United States and their bullshit myth about the last presidential election being stolen, and their subsequent attempted insurrection and attack on the sitting government of the United States of America being dismissed as a riot or political demonstration. CIA started the crack epidemic in US neighborhoods and Reagan bribed the Iranians to keep the hostages longer. Neither is true. There are no credible sources supporting these theories and they've been officially disproven a number of times. These are just straight up QAnon level conspiracy nonsense. That a university degree is just a piece of paper and that you can learn everything just as well on your own. Yes, networking and prestige are a big part of higher education, but doing your own research is how people think vaccines cause autism, and that scientific fact is negotiable. The expired food suddenly becomes poisonous. Unless it's something that actively spoils, it's usually just fine to eat for a while after expiration or the sell-by or best-by date. Things like sugar, salt, honey. Those pretty much last forever as long as they are stored properly. Lately it's that every person mentioned in the Epstein documents committed a sex crime. The number of posts I've seen with egregiously wrong information is alarming. Some of the names on the list are mentioned in the document only having not been a part of anything nefarious. That women have a higher pain tolerance than men. It's not only the other way around, but also women have a much larger psychological factor in how they experience pain, and they can report higher pain levels depending on factors like how the pain is described to them. That doctors in the Victorian age masturbated their hysterical female patients to orgasm, and got so tired of this boring job that they invented the vibrator. Both of these are recent myths from 1999, originated by a single historian with flawed methodology. I often wear sunglasses in the winter, particularly while driving, because the sun is lower in the sky. Just before midday it can be blinding. Then people ask, why are you wearing sunglasses? It's cold. We don't wear sunglasses because it's hot outside, people, that you can disarm an attacker with a knife. Too many people believe this and get themselves killed. Even if you manage to disarm them, high chances that they manage to get you a few times already. Just run, only try disarming as a last resort. Robin Williams was a huge comedian and even he committed suicide. So even comedians are depressed, said with similar smugness to the Bill Gates dropped out of college. Actually the poor guy has early onset Parkinson's and decided to leave on his own terms. Vitamin C helps either prevent or recover from the common cold. It's been well known by medical professionals and researchers that this isn't true for well over a decade, and people still believe it and buy useless vitamin C infused treatments. All healthcare is trying to upsell you big pharma. The majority of my co-workers have to Google how to spell the word penicillin and have the social skills of a sexually frustrated honey badger. That's the big wig's pay grade, not ours. That if you get a raise or work too much overtime it'll bump you up a tax bracket and you'll make less money overall. And before anyone says it, yes, I'm aware of benefit cliffs, and no, that's not what these people are talking about. That you have to cool food down before going in the fridge. It can be a preference, but unless you're putting a giant pot of soup in there, it can cool just fine. Break into small portions and put in the fridge as quick as possible. The TV Hollywood myth that it's law somewhere that actors depicting military have to have something wrong with their uniform, i.e., out of regulations, otherwise they're impersonating them and committing a federal crime. Planting something other than lawns will give you ticks. Never seen a native garden with ticks? We need to plant native plants whose ranges are rapidly decreasing, not push the sterilization which is associated with lawns. That your average Joe will be healthier if they force themselves to drink water when they're not thirsty. Yes, there are oddball illnesses that interfere with thirst sense. Other than diabetes, they're rare. That the reason stores do not give away food at the end of the day is because of liability. It's not. It's because of the perception of decreased value. Better to maintain scarcity than help the hungry. That the McDonald trial was stupid. That lady just wanted her hospital bill to be paid by the company responsible for the pain she suffered from. She got third-degree burn with a coffee. It's not normal. That introverts are all shy wallflowers that can't socially interact or be seen in public. I rock at public speaking and am good at networking. I just need a bit of quiet after. If you go outside in the cold with wet hair you'll get pneumonia. I've had it and it was not because I went outside while it was cold with wet hair. I had it in the summer. That introverts inherently don't like socialization and that extroverts do. Very introverted person. I love socializing, it just takes a lot out of me. Icing aids recovery after a workout. This is incorrect and actually delays recovery. The doctor that discovered icing came out and said he was wrong. More of a misunderstanding than a myth, but a shocking number of people think that most people died around age 35 until the late 19th century or so. That vaccines are dangerous. What is this, 1850? Oh wait, no, they were happy to have solutions to deadly diseases then, my bad. That Hugo Boss designed SS uniforms. He didn't, he produced them. I think owned a company that produced them via slave labor. That having a lot of sex makes a vagina loose, or that a virgin's vagina will mold itself to one particular penis. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. That was literally invented by Kellogg to sell breakfast cereal. So many myths about GMOs, a big one though is that farmers are sued for cross-pollination. It's never happened. That snakes will stretch out in order to measure you, wanting to eat you. That's not how any of this works. Not exactly a myth but a conviction. There's actually nothing wrong to adult siblings having oral sex, but everyone else doing that. Why don't you just go for it? You think you know more than them? The whole shaving makes it grow thicker. It's not true, I've tried, I still have a shitty stubble. The moon landing was faked. Oh, we definitely landed on the moon later, but then. Impossible. Watering your garden plants while the sun is shining on one will burn them. Ear candling. It is a lot less in vogue now, but it still pops up. The whole Thomas Edison Tesla thing, that eating fat makes you fat. Most fat in our bodies actually come from carbohydrates. Best ones can break a human's arm. I swear, there are still idiots who believe this. If you eat too little, you'll stay fat and maybe even gain weight. So exhausting, that only children are spoiled. Maybe some are, but that's not the majority. Wiping and or washing your butt is gay. I wish I was making this one up. Marriage is the ultimate goal for a woman. The happy end in every media. When Bill Cosby offers you a latte, it's out of the goodness of his heart. The alpha myth based on a misunderstanding of how wolf packs function. That right-wing economic policies would help the poor and middle class. That the pandemic is over. My grandfather is dying of COVID right now. Blood or blue. I'm going to kill someone. We are not horseshoe crabs. That people that held previous cultures' heritages are gone. That women's body hair is unhygienic, yet men's isn't. That saturated fat and cholesterol cause heart disease. That Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines with a gun. OTC detoxes and cleanses are a huge waste of money.